We are not product of charity. We are product of the sacrifices of people. Looking at my father, who of course died when I was in primary 2, and then looking at my mother, looking at the sacrifices that my mother had made. Because there was no really enough money in the family, my mother was doing tedious work to cater for her children. She needed to go to the wood, to the forest, little forest around us, to cut firewood. She would literally lift it on her head, take it to the house, and she would from there take it away to the town to sell. She was doing this to care for us. This is the sacrifices that she have made. Let's take the time to keep the memory of our existence. It is important, it's the minimum that we can do so that somebody can make a record of this someday. I'm not saying this is the simplest thing to do, but it is important because it helps us to heal ourselves, and it helps also the children that are going to come so that they know the passes of their generation. Otherwise, it looks like illusion. It looks like something that is not real.
We need to research, reflect, create spaces, educate, empower. Storytelling is very powerful as a decolonizing tool. And once we understand that, we will see the absolute need to embrace the power of our storytelling, the stories of our ancestors. And through storytelling, we heal, transform, and liberate. Everyday conversations, sharing stories of historical African figures and local community leaders during family meals or social gatherings. These stories counteract negative stereotypes and reinforce a sense of pride and identity.
Who doesn't come from a family? You see, a couple of months ago, I terminated a book I wrote about my eldest brother, which is actually, I can say, a book I write about my family. And writing that book actually opened up my eyes in very many ways. In that, it was the first time actually that I would be writing that in-depth analysis of my family, putting my family on paper like that. It was really healing even for me, because now I could see in picture how we have been evolving as a family, looking at my father, who of course died when I was in primary 2, and then looking at my mother, looking at the sacrifices that my mother had made. Now, by sacrifices, let me just give you an instance. You see, we lived in a village in Amedo here, Uromi, which is south of Nigeria. Because there was no really enough money in the family, my mother was doing tedious work to cater for her children. That is what I often say, that we are not product of charity. We are product of the sacrifices of people. She need to go to the wood, to the forest, little forest around us, to cut firewood. She would literally lift it on her head, take it to the house, and she would from there take it away to the town to sell. She was doing this to care for us. This is the sacrifices that she have made. Now, what I understand, writing that story, in fact, I did say it in some time in the book that, okay, because the story is a little bit long, because now, okay, my mother is dead now too. Because my father was late, so the responsibility was basically lifted on the first child in our, not only the first child, but the first male child in the family, which is my eldest brother. and he have to take care of us, all of us. So that book was actually written to celebrate what he have done, a kind of an appreciation for that gesture, because nobody forced him to do that. He decided out of his benevolence, out of his goodwill, to take care of his younger ones. So I think when we talk about storytelling, looking at it like that, it is not difficult to understand, because we are talking of something that we are used to, something of my brother, my father. You see, you know these people, you know what they have done for you, or what they have done against you. You know this story. You can tell it from the point of view of our story, because you'll be there. I remember, for example, as a child, say around the age of between like 5 and 6, that was when my father died. But before then, I remember going to the farm with my father. I remember many of us in the family going together to weed or to cultivate. I can see, like, smell the sweat of my father as he was working, or that of my elder brother. We were working together, maybe planting yam, or maybe planting cassava, or maybe harvesting, or maybe weeding, or maybe clearing the farmland where they need to be planted. This is the story of us. This is how we are becoming. This is important for us. But you see, now let me share something here, that what I've come to understand, because by doing this work, I am also telling the story of other people. I have come to understand that most of this story actually fade into memory. I will never remember them anymore. Because of course, except maybe you are from the royal family now, somebody have sat down to document your story. When you die, after a few years, you are forgotten. You basically disappear from the memory of the people. Because how we live in memory is that somebody literally need to remember you. How do you remember somebody? Through the experiences. Hello, and thank you for checking out this video. I'm Obehi Ewanfoh, the host of the African Diaspora Storytelling Series. Every 2 weeks, we meet up on LinkedIn to talk about different ways we can leverage the power of storytelling as people of African descent. Now, this is it. We are uniting the millions of Africans in the diaspora through the power of our story. It does sound like what you are interested in. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends who might need it. Now, back to today's conversation. It doesn't mean that the people who we do not remember didn't have any experience. It's just that somebody haven't taken the time to document those experiences. So that is why I think what Nakasha was saying there is very crucial. That we need to take the time to document our passes, those of our family, at least those close to us. At least we don't need to do much research now, because you know these people. Just document your experiences, share with them. I'm not saying this is the simplest thing to do, but it is important because it helps us to heal ourselves, and it helps also the children that are going to come, so that they know the passes of their generation. Otherwise, it looks like illusion. It looks like something that is not real. But how can you be real and where you come from is not real? It is impossible. So we need to do this work intentionally. I think Sister Gloria was saying that before. We need to be intentional about this work, that we know why we are doing it. We know why at this time, right now we are here. We are not here because we didn't have anything to do. You see, Dr. Marcia run her business. The same with Sister Gloria. They abandoned all that time. They are here. That is intention. They are doing this intentionally because they believe that what they are doing have a meaning, have a reason. There is intentionality about that. This is what it should be. Let's take the time to keep the memory of our existence. It is important. It's the minimum that we can do so that somebody can make a record of this someday. Now, talking about this again, I would like to pass the mic to Sister Gloria. And this time, I'm asking, because she's an expert on ancestral healing, How would ancestral healing help to decolonize our narrative? Because again, it's about the narrative. Please help us.
Thank you, Brother Obehi. So, the thing with ancestral stories, ancestral healing, many ancestral lineage stories were marginalized or erased by colonial powers. And by resurrecting these stories, we give voice to the silenced, forgotten. I was just saying to Brother Obehi earlier that our cultural, historical African ancestors will be well pleased with him, and they will empower him to as he keeps their names and voices alive. Brother Obehi writes about honoring our African heroes. He tells their stories with vigor and intentionality. When you read, at least for me, when I read those stories, I can feel his intentions. I can feel the vigor. I can feel how much it's important to him that these stories are read, are heard, and people can get empowered from them. I know I do. I've learned so much about our African kings and warriors, our heroes, from Brother Obehi's stories. And every time I read about them, like I said, I feel their energy come through me. I feel proud. I feel empowered. And it cancels away, it chips away just a bit from all those negative narratives and biases that constantly are being told. So we also have to be constant and intentional with our stories, because these people don't let up. I go back again to this recent visit of Meghan and Harry, and I was stunned with the lies, just blatant lies. I mean, I don't know if any of you listened to some of those things, some of the things that they were saying about Nigeria. I don't deny, some of the problems of the continent, but a lot of the things they were saying, just because of the hate they feel, were just outright lies. So I'm saying, if these people have the nerve, the audacity to speak on us like that, my goodness, we need to also speak our truth. We have no excuse. We need to research, reflect, create spaces, educate, empower. Storytelling is very powerful as a decolonizing tool. And once we understand that, we will see the absolute need to embrace the power of our storytelling, the stories of our ancestors. And through storytelling, we heal, transform, and liberate. Everyday conversations, sharing stories of historical African figures and local community leaders during family meals or social gatherings. These stories counteract negative stereotypes and reinforce a sense of pride and identity.